Lawson, anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. Brown goes inside. Oh, what a slam from Jaylen Brown. Oh, Pritchard banks in the three at the buzzer. Great in and out dribble. Oh, he set off the smoke detector.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Your Celtics source in the building. And, we're going to talk about the Jaylen Brown injury. We're going to talk about just what the Pacers are doing right now. It's incredible. And we're going to talk a little bit more about all the mishaps going on in New York City with the Knicks. But, I'll get your thoughts first on, how are the Pacers doing this?
It's incredible. I'm going to always bring it home to your Celtics source because what have we seen in the past for the way the Celtics win? With the bench. How did the Pacers bring it home? This bench won this game. We don't even have to spend time talking about it. Bench won the game.
49-18 points off the bench. Pacers scored 49, Thunder 18. Benedict Mathurin, he scored 20 points. I think that might have been his career high in the playoffs.
27, I think.
Is that how much it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Third highest off the bench playoff total ever.
I mean, that is just like, and I didn't even think he was actually the best player off the bench, right? He brought the scoring, but I thought it was TJ McConnell with all these plays, stealing the ball, throwing it off defenders.
You know what? Those steals are so demoralizing for a team, right? You fine, I got scored on. You go to inbound it, boom, layup. I think the second quarter is where this game really shifted, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a 4-point lead after the third, but I think the Pacers had all the momentum. Yeah. They brought it, into the half. And I was just, I think Benedict Mathurin, or not Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell is a very similar player to Peyton Pritchard, right? They both do the same things offensively. TJ McConnell does the mid-range where Peyton Pritchard shoots the three. That's really the only difference. But I think they're both sort of the energy guys, the hustle guys off the bench.
Happy.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. I think it's an incredible boost when you can get a guy off the bench who can come in and give you that kind of lift. And it's not just the points, it's the energy. It's those little momentum things that really make a difference. Because, this is this late stage. It's a game of margin. It's a game of turnovers. It's a game of small errors. It's not a massive shift here. So, I mean, no question, bench won this game, and it was impressive to watch.
Yeah, I mean, TJ McConnell only scored 10 points, but his impact goes way beyond the box score.
Now, we talked about before this game. I want to get your take on something. We talked about one of the keys to the game was, what are we going to see from Halliburton, right? When he gets pressure, scoring, what did you think? I want a reaction from you.
Halliburton has arrived, right? This team is 8.
Hallelujah, Halliburton.
What the hell? Yeah. They're 8-1 in these playoffs when he scores 20 or more points.
And have not lost.
And that one loss was 20 points, I think, or something.
And have not lost 2 in a row.
No.
So it's
I mean, I don't think the Thunder have lost 2 in a row in these playoffs either. But
well, that means Pacers will win. If that holds,
they got home court advantage. They just got.
Well, you strike first. They won. They win 4.
Well, I mean, I'm starting to realize that OKC, they're dominant on this team. They won all their games by an average margin of 13 points. They can't close. They are. It feels like they're even worse than the Celtics. We don't know who they're playing, but it is awful the way that they basically, the Pacers, their defense just locks down SGA in these fourth quarters, right? He scored 4 points or something in the.
Well, I think what's interesting about it is that's not historically what we've seen really from OKC. You take the Celtics games where they closed them out in the fourth quarter in the regular season, but we've seen SGA, we've seen the Thunder close. So this is different.
I think they were 29-1 against the Eastern Conference this season.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, I have been pleasantly surprised by these playoffs. we thought we knew what we were getting, and we didn't. We got an upset of the Celtics. We got the Knicks. We said, oh my gosh, Thunder in 4, Thunder in 5. This series go to 7 games. There's no question, I think.
I think, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think, we were saying game 3 decides the series. Game 4 might decide the series. Like, if Indiana can,
if they win, it's over.
Yeah,
if they win game 4, it's over.
I was super impressed in the way Miles Turner was guarding, not even guarding, but like his impact defensively. They did such a better job of guarding SGA and letting SGA make the first move, because it's sort of the way OKC plays. They set these flat screens and they wait for the defender to pick a direction to try and go around the screen, and then SGA goes the other way. And if they wait, SGA has to make the first move, and they can react to that and beat him to the spot. Whereas, forcing it and having SGA just get an open, mid-range shot, which are unstoppable for him, right?
He's like 110 for 100.
Yeah, you have to live with him shooting a deep 3 or a deep 2 behind that flat screen and make him come around if he wanted to, right?
Yeah.
We also got a lot of plays from Miles Turner coming in and stealing the ball, or pulling it out of his hands for a jump ball, right? And Miles Turner's obviously going to win that with his height. So I just thought their double teams were sort of really on point in this game.
What did you think of Chet Holmgren's play?
He was dominated by Miles Turner, especially down the stretch. The block, the rebounds over him.
Yeah, Holmgren. I love watching Holmgren. I think he's a great player to watch, and he's
skinny.
Not skinny like us, but I thought it was interesting. I thought he got outplayed too, and I think.
Yeah, I saw some stat. Some guy was joking around. He's only like 210 pounds or something.
Well, I think it's really interesting because he's still really young, right? I mean, this is early in his career, right? The injury, year 2 kind of thing, we're actually playing. So I wonder if 3 years from now, if he can put on weight and muscle, and it takes a while to become a force in the league, right? Almost nobody is a force out of the gate. I mean, not saying it. So he's the kind of player, I think he's going to get better. I think we're going to see in 3 or 4 years that he has really come into his own. I hope, because he's a fun player to watch. But we'll see. He's not helping as much as I thought he would last night.
Yeah, I think what we're noticing is the styles that they play, because right, young players, they don't play as well on the road, especially, and it also makes also a big reason here is that the Thunder, they like to get their points in the paint, get to the free throw line, right? I think the Thunder are like, they haven't won a game when SGA gets less than 9 free throws or something. Yeah, these playoffs, right? And
oh my god! Oh, sorry.
Wrong player. We'll talk about that team next.
Okay.
SGA, he's not getting the whistle on the road, and what I'm noticing is that the 3 ball, it carries whether you're in an away arena or not, because you can shoot the 3 whether you're at home or not. What you're not getting is the whistles, but it doesn't impact Indiana because they don't play that way.
Now, do you think that's a road and away thing, or do you think that is a people getting wise to? And I don't want to say SGA flops, because that's not fair, but he's very effective at getting marginal calls. Do you think some of that is wearing thin?
I think a little bit of that is wearing thin, which I think is good for the league, to be honest. As a Celtics fan,
we agree. We've always agreed on that. The off-air show, we talk about that.
Got to be a little biased here.
Yeah.
But you also see that, it's the finals, right? And, they're letting almost everything.
Let them play.
Yeah. You can't decide games on free throws. You have to let.
Nobody wants the ref decide.
Yeah. If OKC doesn't want to, if OKC thinks they can't win like that, they got to change up their style. So they're getting more open shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I gotta say, we got a series. It's way more entertaining than I thought, and I know a lot of people in Indiana, and they're pretty amped. They are pretty amped.
Oh yeah, Pat McCaffrey has been doing a good job of amping them up.
They don't. I mean, it's not that hard against the NPC fans of Oklahoma City, but I'm just saying.
Indiana has the same thing. They don't let their fans in, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see an OKC jersey in the building at all. I saw
no, I saw a few, but like
I saw
no,
more in OKC than I did
yeah,
in.
yeah. Again, I'm not a fan of that. You and I are probably going to try and get a Yankees-Red Sox game this weekend at Fenway Park, and we know it'll be loaded with Yankees fans. And honestly,
It will be more I can guarantee it will
but
be.
that's kind of the fun.
It will be a 70-30 split Yankee fan.
We'll see. 2 out of 3 last weekend, but I'm just a topic for another day. But I think that's a fun atmosphere. I like, you like the fun banter. You don't want it to be too negative, but that's fun. It's like, and so I'm opposed to the whole no opposing fans can get into the arena kind of thing, but whatever.
We hammered that to death, so we're not going to go into that.
We have. But all the great sports commentators like us have a thing that they hang their hat on. I might hang my hat on that. So
yeah, I'm gonna pick OKC to win every game, even if
until the end when they lose.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna keep picking them, even if the
Pacers down with that ship
up 3-1 until they win.
They're still the favorite. They're still the favorite. What does that tell you?
I mean, it's just a 2-1 lead. Teams that are up 2-1 have a 80% chance of winning.
80.5.
80.5. But like, I just still think that the OKC is going to win this series for some reason.
I think it's 80.5 when they go 1-1 and then whoever wins the third game. I don't know if you go 2-0 and 2-1. I don't know what the.
I see.
So, all right. Well, we'll see. It'll be fun to keep watching these games and fun to think about who we might be able to trade Porzingis for on the winning team. So,
because we'll talk about Porzingis because I actually don't think he's going to leave.
You don't think he's moving?
No, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Before we talk about Jaylen Brown and Porzingis, for that matter, quick thought on the New York Knicks getting denied by every single team they ask.
Rotten to the core in the Big Apple. This is my question for you. We have some dysfunction going on here in Boston with the Red Sox. We had it with the Patriots. Maybe we've sorted that out. So we know it when we see it. What is going on? This is a team that went to the Western Conference Finals.
Eastern
Conference Finals. Thank you. What are they doing? They blew this thing up with no plan B.
Yep.
No plan B.
I think they thought they could get one of those 4 coaches based on it being a good market to come play, the East being so weak, right? Any team that gets any star is going to be winning the East, I feel like, next year.
I mean, they did not think this thing through at all. I mean, maybe they can get Phil Jackson to come run the triangle. I don't know. But, what are their choices here, Zach? What are they going to do?
They're probably most likely going to get Michael Malone. And Michael Malone's the same coach as Jaylen Brown said.
Well, let me ask you a question. Michael Malone's just sitting there. Why haven't they done it?
They keep hoping they can get a previous coach under contract. They don't actually like Michael Malone.
They don't actually want him.
Yeah.
If they actually wanted him, they would have signed him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because he's maybe a little bit more creative than Tibbs is on the offensive end, but he loves his stars. He doesn't play his bench big minutes. He's one of the coaches. I feel like Joe Mazzulla this year, we saw that a little bit, although the team's a little bit different, but it seems like Joe Mazzulla doesn't like his bench either, though. His bench, at least.
I mean, you got to believe that if they had a candidate identified that they could get, they already would have gotten him. I mean, it's the Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals, good team. This is not some rebuild where where you won 10 games or 12 games, right? So, you've got a legit contender. You're maybe a move or 2 away from being in the finals and having a shot. So I think they may have accidentally taken a step backward, not forward next year. Now, we could be wrong. We'll see.
I'm doing a full video on this on Saturday, but I'll just quickly preview it here.
Yes.
KD is an option.
To coach?
Yeah. The Knicks are one of the teams that Shams reported could be a possible trade. It depends how much you have to give up. If you have to give up 2 starters for 1 KD, I don't know how much better that makes you.
I don't either. And KD does not have a great history of playing in New York, even if it's Brooklyn. Like it didn't go very well. You know,
Brooklyn's a little bit different than New York.
maybe, but they tried to put a super team together and not go well, right? So we'll see. I think the biggest thing for them is the coach. If you don't, in my opinion, you get the right coach who can. They don't have to be the star, right? You don't need a Eric Spoelstra. You don't need the best coach. It would be great if you could get one, but you get a guy who can actually motivate the team and figure out how to take that step. You try and get a Mazzulla-esque person who you think can step up. And I know we have some questions about Mazzulla, and so maybe that's not the best example, but you try and get that maybe second tier bench coach who can take you up there. But I feel like the Knicks kind of put themselves in this hole where now they got to go find a diamond in the rough instead of just riding the hot hand another year.
Yep, I'm gonna do my little sports radio take here. It was a mistake to get Joe Mazzulla. They should have stayed on Ime Udoka. They would have had 3 titles by now.
One, they wouldn't have had 3 titles. They probably would have. I think they could have had 2. I disagree with that because I think at the end of the day, sport has to be about more than just winning. It has to be about all the moral compass and the leadership and the roles you set for people. And they had no choice. Ime Udoka is probably a better basketball coach than Joe Mazzulla. I don't think the Celtics had any choice, and we don't know all the details. I don't think the Celtics had any choice but to move on. Now, the question could have been, why did they extend him? Why didn't they go find Jason Kidd or the next, right? That, because I think a lot of people would have wanted that team last year when Mazzulla went all the way, right? So we'll see if Mazzulla can grow into being an elite coach. He's not yet.
Yeah. We'll transition here.
Okay. We're done with that topic.
It's going to be harder now that, the uncertainty around both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? Jaylen Brown, right? He underwent surgery yesterday. I did a full quick reaction on that yesterday, but I don't think we know he's going to return before the start of the season. There's sort of 2 things that Celtics fans are worried about here. One is the fact you don't know what could happen to him down the road, right? Because we've seen with knee injuries like Joel Embiid, with Robert Williams, right? It's those tiny little injury at first, and then it keeps growing and growing. Like Joel Embiid, his first knee injury was just a tiny little meniscus tear like this one that Jaylen Brown has, but it grows and grows, and it gets worse and worse. And then
I'll tell you what, and I have firsthand knowledge about this. I've had this surgery by the same doctor that does the surgery on the Bruins and the Red Sox, elite surgeon in Boston. So I've had this exact surgery. Now, Jaylen Brown is younger than I am and maybe a better athlete. Well, I mean, jury's out. But I'll tell you why I'm not worried.
Good shout.
First of all, Tom Brady, if you're watching this, I still can beat you in running at any distance. I'll take you on. But I'm not worried.
Going up.
I'll take any amount of money bet. But when you look at Robert Williams, when you look at Embiid, those are big guys. And Jaylen Brown is not so heavy. I think the size of those guys really makes an impact. When you get to that size, and it just wears harder. And so I think, number one, Jaylen Brown's in incredible shape, better the shape than those guys. 2, he's been playing a long time, I think, and he has a really long chance for recovery. He doesn't have to play again for months, right? So I'm actually not too worried. I think we will see a 99.9% Jaylen Brown recovery here. That's my prediction. Now, I obviously don't know the details of the surgery. I don't know how bad the tear was. Nobody knows. But in general, I'm not worried about it.
You're not worried about arthritis coming up, or
Nope.
Really?
I'm really not. I think that he's got an excellent he got an excellent surgeon. Has excellent PT care, both with the team and outside the team. And so I think that he will have sufficient time to fully recover. He doesn't have to rush it. And, it's not like the Aaron Rodgers Achilles tear is trying to get back for the season for whatever stupid reason, right? Because you're 0 in a million. So, even if he misses the first 2-4 weeks of the season, like it doesn't matter, right? So he has months and months to get back into shape. He can ride a bike, keep his cardio and physical going. So I'm really not worried. Now, if something goes wrong with the surgery, if there's always a risk. There's not zero risk, but if there's no complications, I'm not worried.
Yeah, the Celtics said it was successful, but who knows? Like,
what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's always successful the day after.
Breaking news: Jaylen Brown has unfortunately gone unsuccessful surgery and could miss 8 to 10 months, and his future is uncertain.
Right. Exactly. Breaking news: we're going to violate HIPAA and federal law and tell you that the surgery didn't go well. But anyway, another topic. So, listen, it's not that there's no risk, but I'm not losing sleep over it. Not yet.
Yeah, I think a subcategory of this is I think the Celtics would only trade Jaylen Brown if they were blown away by an offer, right?
What do you think? What do you think it takes? What do you think it takes?
I don't know. It's got to be a first round pick and a star player that makes less than what Brown is making right now. That is maybe slightly worse than what Jaylen Brown is, but you get a top 10 protected pick or a star player along with that.
Why does that make sense versus moving a Holiday last year of a Porzingis? Why does it make sense? I know the money, but why does that make sense?
Because I think you're worried if Jaylen Brown doesn't make a full recovery, it's better to move off of him now.
Why do you think people are going to pay top dollar for if there's any uncertainty?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I think there's less likely that there's going to be a deal that blows you away. There are already deals out there for Jaylen Brown. He is a wanted player. Like, it's not like he is untradeable. There are tons of teams that want him, but they might pay a great deal instead of a over-the-top deal that just blows the Celtics away, and they're like, I have to do this deal, right? If it's just a good deal, I don't think the Celtics do it because I think they want to keep Tatum and Brown together, right? We don't know. That's sort of the what worries me the most and most Celtics fans, right? It's not about the injuries of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's like we have no idea what they're going to do this summer. They could blow everything up. They could keep some things. They could trade away the best players. We just have no idea what they're going to do, especially with the owner.
And here's one of the things as a fan, right? Because we are sports journalists and commentators first and fans second, right? We know our order of priorities. But as fans, in our secondary hat, you always got players you love and you hate to see them go. But if you are a ruthless GM who is focused on winning, sometimes you make moves to ship popular players like a Marcus Smart out of town, right? And it'll be interesting to see not only the moves that are made, but does it work, right? The Red Sox, before your time, Nomar Garcia-Parra, most popular player, traded him, right?
They did in 03 too, right? Or was it after they lost to the Yankees or before?
I think it was after they lost the Yankees in 04. Might have been God, I have to remember.
They won in 04. They lost the Yankees 03 the previous year.
Yes, that's correct. I just remember when
walk-off homer.
I remembered. I watched it.
I know it was like I was alive, you see.
Yeah, but you weren't. It's still the greatest sports series I've ever seen were the 03-04 Yankees, Red Sox playoffs. They were the best I've ever seen. Anyway, so question is, we love Brown, we love Tatum, we love White. Are you willing to make the deep cut and get the value back to win another championship? And can you make that call right? Not only can you piss off the fans, but can you get it right and not end up on the short end of the stick and losing the second round again? I'm talking healthy Tatum. I'm not talking like I'm hoping next year, but I'm really thinking the year after. Can you set yourself up, and are you willing to make those hard decisions?
Yeah. I think Brad Stevens is that guy.
I think so.
But
I think he's ruthless. I think Brad Stevens is ruthless. I think he'd if he had to throw his wife into a deal to get below the second apron and get that star player, he might.
he might do that.
Right.
What was I going to say? I was going to say, sort of along those lines. You have any final thoughts on Jaylen Brown?
No. But I'm not losing sleep. I'm not worried.
You're not worried? Okay.
Not worried. I know you are, but I'm not.
I'm really not worried about Jaylen Brown's injury. I'm more worried about all the uncertainty. Like, we have no idea what this team. There is only one player that's going to be on the team next year. That could be a possibility. So, like,
who's that?
Tatum, right? Tatum's not traded. He might be the only.
He's tradable.
We might hibernate for the summer. We wake up, reverse hibernate, right? We usually hibernate in the winter. Right. We hibernate in the summer. We wake up in September, and Jason Tatum's the only guy on the roster.
It's called an Australian hibernation.
Yeah.
I think that's unlikely. I think at the very least, we'll have Springer and some others still here. So
Springer?
Not Springer. I mean, J.D. Davidson. Thank you.
J.D. Davidson, G League MVP. What do you mean? He's going to be our starting point guard.
This is one of the things, and you and I have talked about this in our off-air show. It always amazes me that the G League MVP can't get playing time. Now, on another team, he would get more time, I know, but like the MVP of AAA can't get any time. It's astounding. Tells you how hard it is to get into the league and stay in the league, right? So we kind of give the guys at the end of the bench kind of a hard time, the number 10 spot, the 12 spot. But those guys are better than every single other player not in the NBA in the world. Maybe there's some international folks. But my point is, like, every single college player, every single G League, like every one of those guys, the 12th man is better. It's kind of amazing, right? I think it is.
I think so too. Moving on to Porzingis here.
Yeah.
He has an expiring contract at the end of the year. He's gonna play in the Euro League this summer, right? And try and prove himself again. I don't know if you're gonna get much for him. I'm hearing rumors that the Celtics might just either try and extend him or just let him walk at the end of the year. And if you let him walk, right, you lose the money, right? This team doesn't have to get below the tax until January or something, right? So they can do mid-season trades even in January, I think, and get below and not have to pay the tax yet.
Below the apron.
Yeah. Not the apron or the second apron.
Second. That's what we mean. Well, that's kind of interesting. I kind of don't hate that strategy, which is, by the way, Porzingis is not injured. He had a viral, thing. So, like,
that's true. Actually, he was, for the most part, injury-wise, besides the first month of the season, he didn't have any big injuries or whatever.
No. So maybe the play is let him showcase himself in the summer, and like maybe you move him November, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like teams are unwilling to do trades that early in the season. But, Brad Stevens might be able to get something for – depends. If we're not playing really well and it's clear right away we're going to have a bad season, maybe a contending team might try and go out and get a Porzingis.
Yeah. I mean, there's another option for him, which is we could put him at shortstop because I bet he can –
You see the play Trevor Story made last night?
I did.
Yeah.
As we know, because we're big Trevor Story fans, we're hoping that he keeps hitting home runs so we can trade him.
No, comparing it to Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is not a good fielder. He made a couple good plays in his career that he gets named for. He was an average fielder. He was not a great fielder.
Derek Jeter was above average by far.
I don't know. People say otherwise. But
okay. I mean, Derek Jeter's one of the greats, and I'm no Jeter fan, but he's one of the greats, no question. Have to respect it.
Final thoughts here. Drew Holiday, teams or the Celtics reportedly are looking for at least a first round pick along with other stuff for him. I think he's he
Bring me
knows.
other stuff like gold bullion.
No, like some other picks, some other players.
Role
But
players.
there has to be a top, a high first round pick in there for him.
Yeah.
I also think that he's the first to move. He knows he's getting traded this summer, and everybody knows. Like I wouldn't say he's on the market as much as Kevin Durant is, but he's pretty far up there. Like he's the first one to go. I think everyone knows that.
I think that's right. I think that's right. And I think we'll see. I think there's interest in him. I'm not sure people are going to overpay. I mean, how would he look on the Knicks?
I mean, you might trade to the Lakers. You're not trading to the Knicks.
I know you're not doing it, but I'm saying could be actually an interesting fit on the Knicks, right?
No, you got Brunson. I mean,
yeah, but Brunson can be the number one scoring.
Tatum, I don't think you want small guards. I mean, Drew Holiday has the defense, but it's not going to be the same, right? It's going to decline each year, I feel like.
Yeah,
you need a big guy.
Maybe, but you don't need the scoring on the Knicks, really. I mean, you could use some more points, but like Drew Holiday played lockdown D. Like the Knicks played lockdown D against us, but they're not known as a lockdown D.
What are you trading Drew Holiday for, though?
I don't know. That's
if they're giving up a starter, yeah, Cat. If they've given up someone, then they don't have the scoring either.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
I don't know. I don't know where he goes. I mean, I don't know.
But we'll sort of wrap it up here. We will be live pre-game show, post-game show tomorrow as the Pacers. It's just 2 days off or 1 day off here for only one of the series. So we'll be live covering Game 4 of the finals. Obviously, we will be live Saturday with Kevin Durant possibilities.
I don't think that happens too soon. I think that's a slow move.
I think it's the first move of the season of the summer.
You think?
Yeah, because Because apparently Giannis is not gonna. He's gonna stay in Milwaukee. So
well, we'll see.
Apparently he wants to. I don't know.
What do you think about Drew Holiday back to Milwaukee?
I don't know. Like the Bucks don't want to take on salary either. That's why they're getting rid of Giannis.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think that's why. I mean, I would keep Giannis, but whatever.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Follow on social media, and until next time, go Celtics and go Pacers.
Go C's.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured.